Well, for some people, it is used to accuse us Catholics as idolaters, practicing idolatry, and but what can I say about that? Well, I use the argument that every idol is an image of something that is man-made, something that is not true. You see, like the gods and goddesses of the neighboring countries of Israel. But the icons are images of Christ, of Mary, of the saints, and they are not man-made. They are not invented by human mind. They are historical persons. So therefore, they are not idols. So yeah, and also maybe we are human beings, and naturally our knowledge starts with our senses. So icons and images helps us to pray. That's the Catholic point of view. But I think Brother Kyle Hill can give a very interesting point of view regarding icon and
Yeah,
images.
so let's give a little bit of history on this question. And I'm going to affirm two things I think that this question is implying, and I think they're very true. And good Catholics would also agree with this, even good Orthodox. Some Catholics and some Orthodox do make these images idols. A thing isn't an idol. Strictly speaking, no thing is an idol. What is an idol is the nature that you attribute to that thing. So let's say, for example, I carve a statue, whatever it is, it doesn't matter, right? I carve a statue of a guitar. That, strictly speaking, is not an idol. If I start attributing a nature to that guitar and say, this is my God, I have therefore created an idol. So what I'm saying is you can have a thing, an image, a statue, or whatever it is, and it will just be a thing. Once you start attributing a nature to it, you then make it an idol. And then secondary to that is what do you do with that thing? And it's very true that there are some Roman Catholics who worship these statues as if they are a god. Now, but let me tell you, that's also true of Protestants. Protestants have things all over their home that they turn into gods. Oh, such as alcohol, such as video games, such as media, such as the church, such as worship ministry. The thing in itself is not an idol. What is the idol is how you attribute a nature to that thing and what you do with that thing. So let's go back. The reason why Christians created these images, so to speak, is because 99% of the world did not read. 99% of the world had no access to books. The printing press was not even in existence until the mid 15th century as a thing that people could have access to. And so if you look in the history, even secular scholars recognize that the church early on created images as a way to teach people the truth of the church, of the Bible, of Christ, and of the saints. Stained glass, for example, was deliberately made by the Roman Catholic Church to teach non-literate people. It was a service. It was something that I mean, I don't even know how many hours you spend, how many years you spend on one piece of stained glass, but I'm sure it's many months, maybe many years. And they did this just so the poor, the illiterate, could learn something about the Bible and could learn something about God. And so icons and images were always made to teach us the truth about God, his world, and his people. That was the main point. They're not used to worship. And the catechism will tell you if you worship these, you're going to hell. The Orthodox will tell you if you worship these, you're going to hell. The Protestants will tell you if you worship these, you're going to hell. This is all listed in canonical documents. So what these idols is you would say an idol is used for, it's not an idol at all. It's an icon. And they're used to draw us to worship to Christ. So, for example, I have a picture of St. John of Damascus behind me. The reason I have that picture is because St. John of Damascus was the first apologist to the Muslims. He was the first person to actually engage with the Muslim population. Do I worship him? No. What I do is I use him as a model. And I say, this man followed Christ. I want to follow Christ like this man followed Christ so that I can be as effective in my field of ministry as St. John of Damascus was effective. What it does is it leads me to rely on Christ as somebody like St. John did. Images and icons are primarily and purposefully used to worship Christ, but also to set before us models of the Christian faith that we should follow.